Does the United States of America decline the existing of climate change? Let us explain. The Paris Agreement came out of the 21st Conference of Parties of the UNFCCC, held in Paris from November 30 to December 12, 2015. The Paris Agreement's central aim is to strengthen the global response to the threat of climate change. The main elements of the Paris Agreement are: first, long-term goal. Governments agreed to keep the increase in global average temperature below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial level and pursue efforts to limit it to 1.5 Celsius. Second, contributions. Before and during the Paris Conference, countries submitted comprehensive national climate action plans to reduce their emission. Third, ambition. Governments agreed to communicate every 5 years their contributions to set more ambitious targets. Fourth, transparency. They also accepted to report to each other and the public on how well they are doing to implement their targets to ensure transparency and oversight. Fifth, solidarity. The EU and other developed countries will continue to provide climate finance to assist developing countries both to reduce emission and build resilience to climate change impact. The reason that the United States joined the Paris Agreement are: first, United States of America is the biggest producer of greenhouse gas emission in the world. Second, the United States and China, as the first two large nations, have to set a model for other countries. Third, a large majority of Americans want the United States to participate in Paris Agreement. Fourth, the Paris Agreement creates growing markets for innovative technologies and services opportunities for United States companies. On June 1, 2017, United States withdrew from the Paris Agreement under Trump's administration. But United States could literally withdraw at least on November 2020, according to the Article 28. There are several pull factors that create the United States withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. First, a negative economic impact. Paris Agreement could cost America as much as 2.7 million lost jobs by 2025. Second, a group of Republican senators encouraging Trump to make a clean break from the agreement. Third, 57% of conservative Republicans are skeptical about climate change.
In several points, on Donald Trump's vision and mission to create America great again, it is very connected with the push factor that create American withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. For example, first, there are a negative economic impact on the US because the United States feels that their wealth is only to separate it to other developing countries, because one of the main points on the Paris Agreement is to help the developing countries to reduce their carbon emission. Secondly, there is a reducing on the regulatory burden on their business face in order to create jobs and the growth of the economy. Third, Donald Trump believes that the withdrawal from the agreement represents a restoration of the American workers' sovereignty. The United States' decision to withdraw from the Paris Agreement has created a negative impact. First, stated from the NERA Consulting stated that America will lose $3 trillion in the few next decade and also lost 6.5 million chance of work if they still follow the Paris Agreement. Secondly, the stopping of the financial aid that's been done by the President of the United States, Donald Trump, will make a developed and less developed country to achieve the goals in the Paris Agreement. Third, Trump's decision to stop the growing and separating the new technologies on reducing the carbon emission and also to create a new clean energy for the world. Fourth, regarding to the expert in the CVR, American status as a world leader will be threatened, mainly because of China's statement states that they will stick and commitment on the agreement. The other impact is for Elliot Diringer, as from the president of the Center for Climate and Energy Solutions, says that this decision will have an impact to the commitment to other countries. They will feel not threatened with the climate change because of the American attitude. President Trump said, complying with the Paris Agreement would impose unacceptable cost on the United States economy and provide unfair advantage to other countries like China and India. So, the conclusion is, based on Donald Trump's statement, the United States entered the Paris Agreement is actually creating a damage on their economy and is only giving an advantage to China and India. Other than that, the inside factor, the economic factor from the United States itself is mainly one of the factors that United States withdraw from the Paris Agreement, because it is correlated with the Donald Trump campaign says that American first and make America great again.